Is there a group that, I don't know, you're just not gonna touch?
Nope.
Okay. Good answer.
Nobody is
Love
off limits.
it. Tonight on That Car Show, we've got a guest that's about as in demand these days as they come. It's the person behind the one Instagram account we all can't stop talking about, Angela's Death Highway. From the genesis of this whole thing to his work process to who's in his crosshairs next, sometimes the jokes just write themselves. This is a fun one. None of us are safe, and you'll only hear it here. It's Mr. ADH, Mr. Angela's Death Highway, and it's That Car Show.
Well, welcome back to this week's episode of That Car Show. I'm Lindsay. I'm here with Ryan.
Hey.
And this week we have a guest that I am very excited about. We have all heard the expression, the man, the myth, and the legend. But I think this week's guest is really the living embodiment of that. We are joined today by the creative genius behind an Instagram account that showed up on the scene in the fall, so not all that long ago, and it has had lots of people talking from the very beginning. It's part comedy, part commentary, while reminding us not to take ourselves or this beloved hobby that we share too seriously. And it's definitely must-watch content at my house. That's right. We have Mr. Angela's Death Highway himself here with us today, and I'm so excited to get to know him, hear more of the story behind the account, and talk all things AI, car culture, and whatever else comes up. Welcome, Mr. ADH, to That Car Show.
Well, hello. What a fantastic and kind introduction. I'm honored and flattered. Thank you for having me, and thank you for the kind words.
Of course. Well-deserved. Absolutely. This is something Ryan and I are really excited to talk to you and get to know you better. For those unfamiliar with the account, which I would imagine is not too many people in the car world at this point, but could you share how you describe and think about your account, which is the Angela's Death Highway Instagram account, and how do you describe the account and the videos that you put out?
So, you described it in a way actually far better than I think I have previously described it to myself.
Perfect.
So, no.
Thank you.
What I would usually say is that I like to see what I'm doing as a way of my attempt of putting a mirror up to the community, and it's kind of a thing of I noticed that there are times where all of us take this hobby a little bit too seriously.
Yep.
And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like there is a lack of sense of humor in our community. It's all about how we brand ourselves, and I completely understand that from a professional point of view. But it becomes a point where I feel like some of us are a little bit too afraid to really talk about how we feel, or we want to present ourselves as the all-seeing expert at the car meet, for example. And there, in my opinion, this like energy you kind of feel at a car event of like, these guys sometimes are kind of one-upping their expertise on a thing, and it's kind of like, guys, like, it's okay to not know something.
Sacrilege, right?
So this is kind of like a long approach of me saying that we do take ourselves seriously, and I noticed it in myself. And I would notice this when I would go up on a Friday morning to Angela's Crest Highway, and I'm like, I wonder if these people would find it funny. And I guess they do.
I would say so. Yeah, I think the proof is in the pudding, and people are clearly enjoying the videos. And I love that your response to noticing that in yourself was to pull back and say, like, what if we make fun of it? Or what if, because really you were starting with, what if I make fun of myself? Because you saw something that you were like, maybe this isn't the way I want to experience this hobby or show up in the hobby world. And I love that that was your response to it, because you're right. In theory, we know that none of us know everything, and we all can learn a lot from each other if we were willing to admit that we don't know something.
Right. And then this whole thing for me was like, I tried to go as far as possible in roasting all parts of car culture.
Yeah.
And honestly, because here's the thing, right? If we talk about cars, let's talk about, I don't know, any brand. We look at like any review. The general thing is that, journalists or anyone who's writing review has to have an incentive to have a positive thing to say.
Well,
And I'm guessing that, hearing people or hearing myself in these videos roast certain cars is kind of maybe a breath of fresh air. I don't know.
well, it's a way to do it without, because we've talked about that on the show of like, you do have that in the back of your mind. If you get a press loan, you would like to continue the relationship with that manufacturer. And so
Absolutely.
it's finding the balance of being honest and authentic and sharing a real review with your listeners or your readers while staying tactful and, not burning the bridge of the relationship.
Right.
That's tricky.
Your commentary is so spot on, and they say satire is generally the toughest form of comedy, right? It takes a real gift to pull it off like you do. You're obviously an observer, right? I mean, you've been absorbing for a long, long time because you pick up on all the little nuances and all the little, all the little things that make us who we are, I guess. At what point did you say, I'm done observing and it's now time to report, right? Like, what was the turning point for you where you had to let this out?
There was no official moment where I was like, right, this is my time to speak. Because honestly, this whole thing was an accident.
Yeah?
Really?
It was an inside joke between some friends.
Okay.
And we were thinking, well, how do we just lightly poke the local community? And it honestly started off with just like memes that I would make. They were just videos. So it would be like, somebody crossing the double yellow because they wanted to get the donuts at Friday morning, for example. Right. And then I just decided one day to make an AI video and just try and make like a short narrative of what, the average Friday morning would look like, but kind of do it in the most extreme, bizarre way. And there was no expectations when I posted this. It was just a thing of like, well, I noticed like a couple of people were locally noticing these memes, but it was just like 50 to 100 people. And then I made this video and...
and the rest is history.
I guess, yeah. It was a thing of people seemed to enjoy them, so I felt like I had a reason to continue doing it, and it's kind of ended up to where we are at today.
And it's taken over your life.
Yeah, it's become this, this cultural barometer, right, for us enthusiasts, right, where it's become a badge of honor to be.
Right.
Well, that means a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Just going to piggyback on that. One of the things that really stood out to me in the other interview was when you said people will message you and say, that's me. And you're going, it actually is not you. I didn't intend for it to be you. So I think it's kind of hitting on that. Plus, like Ryan said, all the little Easter eggs and nuances. It's giving people a sense of being a part of something and being involved, especially if it's an event that you went to, or like if it's an event that I attended and then you make a video out of it. And I'm like, yep, that's true. That's true. That's true. And it sort of extends the experience of the event, and it makes you, I'm like, ooh, I'm an insider, which is, I think we all have a little bit of wanting to be on the inside. Yeah. And it's really, I think it's really fun. But yeah, I love that people are like, they want to be in it so badly, because I think you're right, Ryan. It is a badge of honor now that they're seeing it even when it's not true.
What a group so ripe to be mocked, right? I'll never forget the first time that I went up there, and I had a guy. God, I don't want to give too much away. It was a red Honda product, and he was on my butt the whole way. I was in a rental car. I pulled off as soon as I got there. 2 seconds later, we were up at the top together, and he gets out in the full regalia, the full gear,
No.
And it was just like, oh my God, this is exactly what I hoped it would be.
Wait. So what is the full gear? Just help me paint the picture.
Yeah, the guy was in an S2000, a red S2000, and the gear was all red Honda gear. And, he puts the wheel chock under the rear wheel after he parks. And I just like, is this real? Like,
it's like a character in real life.
Yeah. And so to see this like brought into your world where it's just like, oh my God, it's just waiting to happen, right? I mean, this cast of characters and, all these people wanting to be someone, and to your point, not, all afraid to mess up and say something wrong or mispronounce something. It's just like, so you could cut the tension, and then you come along and you sort of blow the whole thing up, and it's brilliant, It's just, it's.
Yeah, they're so smart. I think that's what it is. Like
they're
hit on it too, Ryan.
Yeah,
like
satire
smart. Takes intelligence. You're an incredibly keen observer.
Yeah.
Because you're picking up the little stuff. Like I was just looking back before we recorded, and there's one video, it's in the driver series, and you showed the Shell station at the base of Angeles Crest. There's another one, it starts in the Target parking, like the top level of the parking garage, which is right by the Shell. But if you haven't been there, you don't know that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I was looking at it and I'm like, it's so brilliant, because who's going to think like, oh, I'm going to include the big box store that's at the base of that road that we're here to drive.
Yeah.
But if you've been there, it's such a landmark.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing about that is that this technology is getting so good, and the more I use it, the more I start understanding how I can, poke it a little more.
Yeah.
It's getting freakishly accurate, the places that I can do and also the people that I can do. So
yeah,
it's really cool to for me to at least look at the start of the page and look at the videos as you describe as the shell that you were still able to recognize, but these were kind of like, by comparison now, like the bare bones of what exists today. So this whole thing that I have is like, it's a little bit of like a developed formula right now.
Yeah.
Without sounding too much of an ass. Sorry, I don't know if I can say that on here.
Please. We're hard R here on that.
Okay. So, without being an asshole, there's a little bit of a method to my madness these days. And at the start, it was just kind of making it as I went along.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense. You've sort of streamlined your process, I would imagine. Had you used AI before this, like either for work or anything? Like, was this your first foray into using it?
Yep. I had no previous experience at all.
Wow.
So that's also another kind of thing about this project was, AI is a threat to most people in any industry. And this was a way for me to kind of approach of a, if you can't beat them, join them type thing. And I despite the thing that I create that is AI, I do kind of have some opposition about myself actually using it. But that being said, this whole thing was a way for me to try and develop a unique skill set with AI whilst trying to have some kind of creative framework. If that makes sense.
Yeah. What is your process? You sit down, you've got the script, how do you leverage this AI witchcraft like you do? Because to your point, I don't think you could do this without it, right? I mean, it's just, you talk about AI taking away jobs and stuff. Well, here's something that's opening up this new frontier you're leveraging it so perfectly. Like, what is your process?
So at this point, what it is I usually write a bare bones script. And then I will, so depending on what I'm making. So for example, if it is a car roast, then I will spend a little bit of time researching it online and kind of trying to develop an understanding if I didn't have that understanding already. And then I'll kind of feed that back into the script. And then from there, I will essentially write the prompts, which is describing the actions and the dialogue that you see. And that is a bit of a trial and error. But that's also got a little bit of a formula because I have had to develop my own style of prompts to, deliver consistent results. So after that, once all the videos have been generated, I take it into Adobe Premiere and then assemble it as if it would be a regular edit. So if you remove the prompts and the video generating, and if, everything else is human made. So it's just the physical visual you see and the dialogue, that audio, everything else is just me.
So you're not writing the entire script. You're giving it like a rough framework, and then the AI generates the actual dialogue. Is that correct?
No. I'm writing about 90% of the dialogue.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh,
so yeah, I will write a rough script and then kind of, my workflow is a little bit unique because I don't lock a script in. I will edit it halfway and kind of see what works. And then I will go back to writing. Yeah, it's kind of, it's a non-conventional way, but it's what actually is working for me right now. So, yeah.
Well, and it's clearly resonating with everybody else. So I think you've discovered a good process. You mentioned that the AI sometimes spits out something completely different in response to a prompt that you've had success with or used in the past. Like you said, you've asked it for an M3 and it'll give you an S2000. Like, what do you do in that case?
You have to just kind of keep poking the monster.
Yeah.
So, and that kind of sucks because, for a productivity standpoint, you just kind of want it done and over. But not only that, but just saving money and saving energy resources. You'd rather just have like the one thing good to go,
Right. You're like, I know I can use this. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's very unpredictable when these LLMs are going to go down. You never really know. And sometimes it just won't give you the result that you want. And it can range from a few hours to, just 10 minutes. And it's kind of a thing if it can take a video that was originally going to take 4 hours. It's going to now take me 7 hours.
Yeah.
So that is not so fun.
No.
Lindsay, I love how you call it the AI.
It's because I'm of a certain age.
Yeah, I'm older than you. So where do you go from here? Because I feel like just when I think you've mined every subgroup, every trope or whatever, are you just getting started? Or, I mean, what, is this just such a rich environment for you?
I mean, there's plenty of material.
Years? Like,
I just kind of get these ideas usually like randomly. And it's a case of if I have some time to write a video, I will just do it and run with it. So whatever kind of hits my head, or if I go to like a car meeting, I feel inspired, or if I see something on Instagram, such as, a rally that happens in a snowy environment.
I was going to say,
oh my God.
Starts with fat, ends with race.
Something like that. Yeah. So, it's there are different kind of sources for inspiration, and to kind of answer the question of where do I go from here? It's just, I'm just making this whole thing up as I go along.
We have to come back to the fat ice race or the faux ice rally as you've got it in your reel, because what the actual fuck? Like, I mean, has there ever been a more ridiculous, direction of automotive enthusiasm? I just, where do we go from here after the fat ice race? It's just, we're drifting 250 GTOs in furs, and it's just at what point does it become a parody of itself? Right? It's.
Yeah.
And is that hard to satirize when it's already so out there, right?
That's a great point. Like if we look back, I don't know, even 3 years ago, I feel like the community would respond to these events very differently. And you bring up a good argument, and I think, it makes me question, like, how did we get here?
Yeah. I think that's a question we all ask ourselves and each other regularly, if not every day. And
I
yeah, I
think
mean,
it
I was
was when
going to
the
ask you,
influencers signed up, right? I mean, that's
yeah,
really when we jumped the shark. Yeah.
when that exploded. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on, like, I don't know how long you've been in the car community. I don't know if you've always been a car person.
Mhm.
You know, and so I don't know when you, like, how much you've seen. Obviously, we've all seen it change over the last few years with influencer culture. What are your thoughts on, like, car culture? I think we know your thoughts right now, but what do you think about where it's headed? Do you think the pendulum's going to swing back the other way? What are your what are your thoughts on it?
I genuinely think that it might swing back the other way.
Mm.
Not exclusively to cars, but I feel like there is such a oversaturation of luxury lifestyle that is embedded into
Mm.
Instagram now. And everyone's a fucking millionaire. Everyone's got a GT3 RS.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, you go on Instagram and you think, why don't I have these things? It must be so easy to acquire. And there is
Right.
this false narrative of usually, you know, it is easy to acquire these things. And the reason we think that is because we see so much of it, right?
Right.
And the point that I'm getting at here is that when all the good stuff just becomes meh,
Mm.
the stuff that we maybe start to take for granted, the not so glossy stuff, maybe I'm hopeful will become enjoyable again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. We'll go back to the sort of purer days of true enthusiasm and focus on driving, that kind of stuff.
I don't think it's ever going to get to like real true like levels of enthusiasm, but I feel like maybe there will be a little bit of like a branch off between the car community itself versus these influencers who, let's be honest, are just trying to force themselves in.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like maybe,
I have no problem with the so-called influencer if they're, you know, doing something for the real love of it. And you can sense that. If there's, you know, I understand that these people who are creating content, they have to make money somehow.
right.
Of course, we all do. But there's a difference between doing it and providing value versus just being a grifter.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these people I
Yeah.
feel are.
Yeah.
And
That's the
Right.
word.
I think maybe that's why a few people resonate with my videos, is because, you know, it just seems as if there is this seamless transition almost overnight.
Mhm.
Obviously, it wasn't overnight,
Right.
but just in a blink of an eye, we have a community that, in my opinion, seems far different to how it
Yeah.
has ever been.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
think we can all agree on that. It's definitely changed. So you like, if you had to guess, you think people are going to move away, it'll sort of branch off, and people are going to move away from like jelly beans and, you know, whistling diesel, like destroying cars for clicks. Like, and the enthusiasts
I
will.
genuinely think and hope that people are going to eventually see through the bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
To-
that
to
would
that-
be delightful.
To that point, of all the groups you've parodied and this and that, who is the most based group on the crest? In your
Oh
opinion?
man.
Oh.
Oh,
Or are
my.
we all?
Brian's
far
trying to start
gone.
a fight.
I genuinely feel like we are all degenerates in our
Yeah,
own
yeah,
way.
Yeah. 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 Biggest
But I
poser
kinda
car.
love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
We have to make fun of ourselves, right?
Yeah. And why is it a PTS GT3?
So that is the worst person.
Definitively. You heard it here
and,
first.
and yet,
No,
I want one.
no, I don't think he's the worst. Actually, I feel like there is worse people out there. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, who are the worst?
You're like, there's so many. Where do I start?
Well, that's
Is it
kind
the
of the issue here.
journalists? Is it the
You're like,
because there's so much gatekeeping, right? Anymore
Right.
that goes along with the journalist set, right? We've talked
Well,
about this before.
the thing that I don't like up there is that it feels like there's almost like a social hierarchy,
Uh,
in my opinion.
yeah,
that's been your
yeah.
experience when you've been up there.
It's not been my experience per se. It's a vibe that I feel exists, and I feel like other people could see that.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. Yeah, they're sort of rungs.
Yeah.
You know, your sometimes your respect may be defined based on the car you drive. And that is, you know, that kind of is applicable to any instance in the car culture, sadly. But if you're a real car enthusiast, you know that it's bullshit.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Has there ever been a more over leveraged group than the people that show up?
So maybe that's the worst person in ACH is the self-proclaimed expert.
Yeah.
And then maybe you could say, well, Angelus Def Highway, is that you because you talk a big game? And I'll just say, I'll tell you something. I'm a moron. I don't know a whole lot of stuff. I'm just here to make people laugh. So.
Hey, you're excelling at that. I would say you're an expert at that for sure.
Thank you.
Can we talk about a couple of the specific videos? That Cayman one?
Yeah.
I got to say that hit.
Yeah, that hit that car show particularly hard.
All three of us.
Yeah.
What was the phrase he used? Mid-engine, midlife, mid
everything.
Yeah, mid everything. Yeah. I was like, wait, can we get that on a license plate for the GT4?
Yeah, even my 13-year-old daughter appreciated that one.
Wow.
Yeah,
Dad
that's
was
Dad.
cool for a nanosecond.
God, what was it? The Infinity G35 one? That just, that was so good. The one with the influencers, the women influencers too, which was so good. And the OnlyFans. I mean, we go on and on and on. What are some of your personal latest hits? What are the ones that really, you put in your portfolio?
Honestly, I think the latest one that I did with the faux ice rally,
it's really good.
because so here is one we can talk about. Because Lindsay, you asked me about my whole workflow and my structure of like writing the script.
Yeah.
When it comes to an event like that, my script is a little bit more like freeballing because I wasn't at the event, so I kind of have to make my snap judgments based on what I'm seeing online. So
right.
In an instance like this video, I will just. This was a very spontaneous video. It was just, I saw this thing going on online. So it was late at night. I just got off a flight. I was on my notes app on my phone, just writing my thoughts about this thing. And then I slept on it. I woke up the next day, and then I just added a little bit more craziness to it.
I think the crazy part is that it was accurate. Like as far as what we could see online. I don't know if you saw the reel that Auto Kennel made of it, but I feel like yours and his were very similar. But yours is obviously satire, and his was made there. Like his was like the real life version of yours.
I don't think that I saw it.
I'll send it to you because it was wild. I saw yours first, and then I watched his, and I'm like, this feels like these could be two parts of the same thing.
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, the number of fur coats. I'm like,
oh my God,
man, I'm immediately underdressed. Like,
yeah.
And that kind of goes back to our thing of like, when have we ever seen a fur coat at a car event?
Right, and that's your.
Is this going to be a thing now?
Right. Yeah, but I mean, and that's an instance of your sort of discernment of like, these two things do not go together. Like,
no.
What are we doing? When did this happen?
We've often talked about like cars are sort of the common language, and we still do this, like it brings everyone together. But I do think there's been this sort of this push to tribalism, right, in the last few years. What do you think is fueling that? Is it just sort of a microcosm of the larger goings on in the world, or when did we sort of start going in so many different directions? And
that is a great question. I feel like brands generally have always had their kind of distinct kind of groups. That's kind of based on how they sell you these cars anyway, because, that's why they have marketing teams to determine the demographics of, the clientele.
Right.
So there's always been that, especially with the more specialist groups, especially Ferrari, Porsche. But yeah, there has been a more of a emphasis, I think, on that kind of like tribe like mentality, particularly between Porsche owners. You notice it with the air cooled Porsche
Sure.
owner and then the non air cooled Porsche owner. There is it's interesting because usually you would have it where you like a certain brand, you can get along with someone, but then there's a subculture of owners on both sides, and I'm not saying this is everyone, not at all, but
Right.
these
But yeah, you
people
have
do exist, and it's like they hate each other, but they're liking the same brand.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I feel like social media genuinely has something to do with it.
Yeah.
But before that, I feel like maybe the forums maybe added to that.
like
but-
that might have been the start of it.
Yeah, sure.
Right. But as I say, it's always been a thing since the beginning of, well, not the beginning of car sales, but as we have evolved with cars, with, any kind of advertisement that you see growing up. This the reason we have poster cars as kids.
Yeah,
It's
that's
kind of,
true.
we aspire to be a part of a tribe.
Yep.
So we always had that, but we now have these tools to be so involved in the tribe, even if we don't necessarily own the vehicle.
Yeah, that's true. It's I mean, it's possible to really have it be a complete lifestyle where before it was something you liked,
Right.
but there weren't the plethora of events and, like you said, channels. I mean, social media didn't exist. It's definitely changed.
But, we've talked about that too. It's like it does start in childhood. Like, what cars did you have on your wall? Were you a car and driver reader, or were you part of the road and
Right.
track camp? Right. So yeah, I think you're spot on there for sure. You mentioned everyone needs to make money. Have you been able to monetize this? Are you coming out with merch? Like, where are you headed with this?
I have not made a single dollar from this. I can tell
It's like
you,
having a podcast.
So you
We can
guys kind
relate.
of understand me just on that alone.
Yeah.
So
Game.
no,
Yeah.
at this point, a video costs me on average like $100 to make.
Okay.
And this is not a method for me to try and make money. It's just to have fun and ride this wave.
Yeah.
But a few people do want merch, and I have teased the idea of bringing merch out.
Yeah.
I did that just after Thanksgiving last year.
Okay.
So to answer the question, I have prototype merchandise in the works.
Fantastic.
But
That's
and it has been a thing that has been in the back of my mind for some time. But I felt like we're nearly at the moment where it's ready in terms of
Okay.
community and in terms of
Yep.
giving a product that I'm going to be proud of to give people, because
Yeah.
these are going to be things that are not going to be sloppy, just a printed logo. It's going to be something that I want people to proudly wear at a car event as an outfit piece,
Nice.
something that is going to look good on all types of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's not a small order. Like,
No.
that's tricky to find,
No,
especially
no.
if you want it to be quality. So
Right.
we all appreciate it, and we will be buying them immediately.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, I can see a whole line of action figures based on some of the characters that you've developed, right? I mean, it's like Funko Pops or something, right? I mean, I think
That
the
is
sky's
hilarious.
the limit here,
Well, and obviously the first one would be, is it Levy? Is that how you
Yeah,
pronounce
that's
it?
yes.
the one that immediately comes to mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the best.
Yeah.
He has a small little following in my small community.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah, I loved that he was in the Fat Ice Race, and I'm like, okay, I feel like this guy is a character that you've created, but also I feel like we've run across him in real life. Like, just want to hang out with him. Well, you'd have to do one of the, I call him OC John in my head with the Turbo S, who says he's professionally doing nothing. I love that guy.
There is a plan to bring more characters that are going to be recurring
Fantastic.
in the Angeles Death Highway universe. It's trying to find ways to complement the videos without kind of just having them in for no reason. And it's
Right.
also a thing of, I have to look at this as a way of most people who watch my videos are cold audience members. They've never watched a video before.
Yeah.
So they have to see the character and immediately understand him. And that was kind of my goal with Levy.
I would say you accomplished it.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, we've all met him for sure. Is there a group that I don't know, you're just not going to touch?
Nope.
Okay. Good answer.
Nobody is off limits.
Yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. Cyclists.
Mhm. Oh boy.
Dun, dun, dun.
Free feet, man.
We're about to open a can of worms up here.
Let's get it because so I'm in Colorado, and I think the cyclists may even be more rabid here than in California.
Probably, which is hard to believe.
The
Wow.
quote from your reel, "I've never met a single cyclist that's actually normal." What is going on? I feel like things are getting worse. How do we solve this? Why do we hate each other so much?
Well, in my cyclist video, I started it off with, "I'm a cyclist and I'm unemployed." So, with all respect, I feel like if they were searching for a job, they would have a little bit less to be angry about because they don't have time to be angry at us.
That's true. And they would probably be less on the road.
Yeah, idle hands and all that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I love the idea that, nobody's off limits because it also means like it's not personal. You're not out to
It is
get-
never personal. No.
No. And I love that. I mean, have you ever, obviously the videos have generated strong opinions, good and bad. Have you ever had anybody try to tell you that you couldn't use their likeness?
I have been very lucky in the fact that despite a few people disagreeing originally with what I was doing,
Yeah.
I've never had anyone outright say that I can't use their likeness, which is truly interesting.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they can disagree with the message, but just to pivot on that point, I think also as well that some of the people who don't or didn't like the videos at the start, I think have started to maybe come around to see, just going back to what you said about, everyone, kind of being thrown under the bus. I think people are starting to realize that as well now. So there has been
the more
times
you
where
put
people
out-
disagree. Yeah. So
Yeah.
people
they're
initially
seeing-
disagree. They see themselves and like, oh my God, this guy is just being an asshole. And then they see that, oh, my buddy got roasted as well.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
And then maybe that kind of unites them. And then they realize, we can learn to love this guy together with hate.
Right. Yeah. Bringing people together through their mutual frustration, right?
Yeah.
Well, and it's been interesting for me because there's people where, obviously some of the people are incredibly recognizable, and it has made me kind of up my game in terms of like being aware of the workings of the car world and who the people are of the moment. Because there's been several where I'm like, okay, that's definitely a real person, but I don't know who they are, so I got to get on this.
Mhm.
So it's been a good education tool.
Me too. This has taught me a lot of actually things that I even previously did not know about the car world.
Like what?
Well, as I say, I'm researching certain things about certain vehicles, and maybe I have learned now a reliability issue with a certain car, which I may have not known. And just these small little nuances that keep me a little bit sharper at the car meet, as I try and let everyone know just how much I know about stuff.
I was going to say, you're the one guy that really does know everything now.
So to add on to Lindsay's comment about personas and this and that, feedback must come through Instagram.
Everything comes through Instagram.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So what are some of the messages? What are you hearing?
Honestly, most of it is positive.
Okay.
That's awesome.
I have some people who will publicly leave a comment and then they will get in my DMs and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, not much, just enjoying my breakfast burrito. And this was a comment that a lot of people know about a specific person.
Okay.
So they just came into my
talking about.
yeah. It won't take a lot of thought process to think about which comment it was. So yeah, they DM me and they're like, "What's up?" And I'm like, "Dude, I'm just eating my breakfast burrito."
Yeah.
And then that was it. So yeah, I haven't had anyone really like say that much bad.
Mm.
If anything, I've started to get a few people who are not in the car scene who maybe just own the car and they just go to work and they don't get it and they're like, "You're a fucking piece of shit." But I get that.
Well,
Well,
again,
and it's a good, I think like back to your original point of like, it's really easy to take all of this very seriously.
Mhm.
And we've talked about, Ryan's been in Southern California enough to know and experience, like we're so lucky in Southern California with all the cars that are just in our daily lives that most people never see. And I think it's really easy to forget that not everybody knows all of the nuances of the car culture or like
Right.
sees
these things on a daily basis. And so it's a good reminder of like, no, this isn't real life for everyone.
No,
Yeah.
and again, I think the fact that you've, the feedback that you get is positive is just testament to your skill set here, right? And walking that line without giving, anything away about you. Do you have a background in comedy or anything? Or is this just a gift from God? Like where does this come from?
a film school dropout.
Okay.
But this
Okay,
was
that
many
makes
years
sense.
ago. That was
Okay.
many years ago. So just to go back to, do I have a comedy background? No.
Okay.
I think
I
you
have
should, maybe.
a production. Thank you.
You do now, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so. No, there was never this thing for me to have a desire to be funny. This is a very new thing to me that I'm still kind of trying to learn. But with writing, no real background in the film school that I dropped out from. My writing teacher said never write anything, so I never did. But I have a
Until
production
now.
background. I have a production background.
You do? Okay.
I
okay.
do, yes. And I'm not
Yeah.
gonna go into specifics behind that.
No.
But
Sure.
We'll
I am
keep
not a
the cloak
writer
intact.
officially.
Okay. And again, without getting into too much of who you are, what are you into car wise? Like what does it for you? You don't have to say what you drive, but what,
Pacifica.
yeah. Okay. So I've heard
I
about
wanted
this.
to talk about that. Okay. So tell us everything about the Pacifica.
If I need to get a rental car for whatever reason, it has to be a Pacifica. Why?
Yes.
Because
why?
you can be on the freeway. You can do whatever you want in a Pacifica.
Mm.
Nobody is going to look at you. You don't need a radar detector. You don't need nothing. You just need a Pacifica.
It's basically a stealth cloaking device in its just as it
Exactly.
exists. So when did this, was this something you discovered by accident? Were you always drawn to them? Like, how did this evolve?
This is a completely new obsession. And it's the only
Okay.
car. Actually, I say nothing and nobody's safe.
Right.
The Pacifica is safe.
Interesting.
So it is a recent obsession. I had no previous love affair for
Okay.
Pacifica, but man, I took one to Joshua Tree not so long ago, and we had an enjoyment that no other vehicle gave me. So I am now a fan for life.
Well, sometimes the most ordinary is the most sublime, right? And we had a little spot about the Pacifica recently, didn't we, on the show? And Lindsay, I was driving from Colorado to see family in Wisconsin for the holidays, and before me, and one in either lane were Pacificas, and there was a family on the right, and on the left, sitting in the passing lane, was an Iowa Department of Corrections transportation vehicle, the same vehicle, and I see this big family on the right, and on the left, men in chains or whatever, and both worked, right? Like, and they didn't acknowledge each other, like there was no Pacifica wave or anything like that. But point is, they're everywhere, right? Like they're everywhere,
Right.
but they're nowhere, right? And it's just, I guess that's the sign of a good car. Does your affection extend to other Stellantis products, or is it just the Pacifica?
Just the Pacifica.
Just the Pacifica.
That's my
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
You see
you
me in a
grow up-
rental car counter, I'm begging for the Pacifica.
You're like, they're like, sir, we just gave the last one to that family, and then just picture you chasing them down the walkway.
I leave and I go to the different branch.
Oh,
Even if I'm
okay.
at the airport, I will get in an Uber and hopefully it's a Uber Pacifica, so I can get Pacifica squares. You know,
Very meta. Yeah.
The commitment is commendable.
Yeah.
big
really like
Pacifica
it.
guy. Yeah.
Were you a car guy growing up?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I really was. Yeah.
What was around you?
So that's the thing. They weren't around me. I think most kids, growing up who were really into cars experienced this. So they may have had like toy cars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I had all different figures, and I never put two and two together. But when I was 5-6 years old with these cars, I would. It's hilarious to say out loud right now, but I would create scenarios and lives for the people which owned these cars.
Wow.
And I'm having this like realization right now that it wasn't like it wasn't as chaotic and as built up as Angeles Death Highway, nothing like that. But it was a thing of like, I would have a family who would, they would have this car and that car, and the kid would have this car, and then just stupid things that kids do when they daydream, these types of things. And
Yeah.
I suppose there may be a connection there. I don't know.
Yeah.
The thread was there the whole time.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that.
So I'm learning that about me right now too.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Isn't it wild when you look back and you're like, I didn't see that for what it was at the time.
Right.
But your instinct was to tell stories or create stories around cars. And now you're just doing that on a bigger stage.
Well, yeah. Maybe I was planting a seed that I didn't know I was planting as a kid.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. So what has surprised you the most about the response to the videos, like good or bad?
I mean, it kind of amazes me that people tune in to watch these. Honestly, I make these videos and I don't usually find the humor in my videos until a week after I've made them. So I never really know what is going to hit and what isn't going to hit. This is kind of like a thing of I post a video and I don't have any expectations. I think, well, this could be a good one or this could be a bad one.
Yeah.
And I just kind of go with the flow of it.
Yeah.
I love that. You're like, I'm just going to leave this here. We'll see what happens.
The feedback is really cool. It's just kind of a thing of, I think most people who make something don't really understand what people get connected to it. Why people get connected to the thing they make.
Yeah.
Right.
And obviously I'm connected to it for a different reason than everyone else. So it's kind of for me trying to figure out what that is to, give the people what they want. And learning that every day.
Well, and you're right. We all bring our own set of experiences and perspectives to the video. So everybody's probably finding different things from it. And that's different from your connection to it. But so are you saying you actually don't think that they're funny when you put them out? Or you're not sure which parts?
And then that's kind of the thing. Like one of the things when I first started this, the first quote I think which resonated with people was "What the fuck is a button willow?"
Yes.
And that whole thing to me is like, I don't get why people find that funny.
I think it's because the grammar's bad. And it catches your attention because you're like, well, that's not like, and if it's a racetrack, you're like, you wouldn't talk about it that way.
Yeah.
And so it catches your attention, and it's a funny way of satirizing again this, like, okay.
But not only that, Lindsay, but you could show up at Andros Crest and just with some made up word, like, I don't know, along those lines, Aspenwood or something, and no one's going to say they don't know, right? No one's going to say
so
they
true.
don't know, which is
That's
amazing.
really true. Yeah, like, oh yeah, I had my PB there. You're like,
Myself included. I'm not going to be the one, to cry
right.
uncle. It's just
Somebody should do an experiment where they go to any car meet,
just make up a
they
track.
right, or not
at
only a track, but
153.
they make up an engine, they make up all these things, and then they see who will eventually call the bluff and how long will it take. That would be a real interesting experiment, I think.
I
think that's something that somebody needs to do with you nearby listening to as it unfolds, because that's a video.
I would love to do that.
And it might, for the most part, write itself.
Oh, it definitely would. Most of these videos do write themselves, especially if it's an experience or like an event.
Right. So this is the first time we've had someone with a voice disguiser, someone who's, not being shown
Identity
here.
is concealed.
What's this like, living with this alter ego, this secret identity?
Oh.
And will you ever pull back the curtain?
I don't think I ever will pull back the
Okay.
curtain, because I feel like part of the fun is that people don't know who I am.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, I don't want to go to a car meet and have someone associate me with the page, because it might, it might reduce the quality of the video that I make, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Right. It would change how
freedom.
they interact with you.
Yeah.
I don't know, a little bit. I mean, my page is still very small, but it does have a small community. And I'm a very private person outside of, this whole thing.
Right.
So, and as I say, this whole thing was an accident. So I didn't start and think that I was going to get a few followers.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, for me, the whole thing is Angela's Death Highway is a brand that survives on its own. It's not necessarily a person. There is a person who is, behind this madness, but it's
Right.
I am not Angela's Death Highway. If that makes sense.
There's more to you than this. Yeah.
So you mentioned it might change how people interact with you or their experience of you. Has making the videos changed how you experience car events or car culture or going for a drive? Has it changed how you're experiencing them?
A little bit, yeah. So, obviously when I'm going up to Angela's Crest Highway, I get out and I'm always thinking like, oh, that sounds like something that someone would say in my videos. Obviously, I didn't have that beforehand, and it's really cool to be able to say that.
Yeah.
But I'm still enjoying it just as much as I did. I try and disconnect from this persona when I go to the event, just so I can see things for what they are. I think if I try and force my judgment of a thing in an event, it's just maybe not going to be as authentic as I would like it to be. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And honestly, that's the thing. Like, I'm not going up to Angela's Crest Highway and thinking, oh my God, like, that car sucks, that car sucks, that car sucks.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going, nah, it's a pretty fucking cool car.
Yeah.
There may be a few thoughts in my head that I'm roasting, but like, not the whole thing.
Yeah.
Right. You're not just there like, okay, gotta log that. I gotta log that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to think that this is sort of the start of something bigger. And I know that people have approached you. I think Matt Farah was interested in animating some of these or whatever. But I keep thinking of like The Simpsons, right? That was, these were like little segments on, I think, the Tracy Ullman show back in the day, right? And they were sort of, amateurish and everything. And it evolved into this huge, cultural phenomenon.
The empire that it is.
Would you ever consider taking, like, if someone were to approach you and say, we'll turn this into a regular thing, a 30-minute, segments or something? I mean, is that something you'd ever do with this?
I mean, obviously, I think I would be stupid to say no.
Sure.
True.
It's, for me, it's, despite not really wanting the recognition for it, it is really cool to see it as a standalone thing grow. And anything to provide more content to people that they would specifically enjoy. And that's the thing I want to emphasize here, is if I was to ever do anything beyond the scope of what I'm doing now, it has to provide the community with something genuine, because the whole message that I'm trying to bring out is that it's not that serious. This is just a whole fun thing. And if it ever seems to be too try hard, I feel like that's when you start to lose the people,
Sure.
So everything that I do, I want to try and make sure that I do it in the way that is going to benefit everyone.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, and I think, you've mentioned a couple times, like, you didn't go into this thinking this is going to be my big payday. This is going to be my, GT3 RS. And I think that is where some of the best art and content and, writing, that's where some of the best stuff comes from, is you're doing it because you enjoy it. And it's the authenticity, like you mentioned. Yeah. That's the heart of it. And I think that's what people respond to. And I think that's very cool.
I appreciate that. Yeah, for me, this is just a hobby. There could be some people who don't understand the true scope of it, and they'll think, well, the fuck, this guy is just wasting his time just trolling people online, and like that's one way to see it, but it's not the way that I see it.
Yeah.
I am having fun writing these things, and if people are enjoying it too, then it makes sense for me to put 2 or 3 hours, away every night, just to make something, like any hobby. So, yeah.
You're bringing joy to the people. It's escapist, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, it's something I know so many people who look forward to every release, right? That you do. They mean a lot to a lot of people, right?
That is really cool to hear. Thank you.
Yeah. It's a big day. Like, I know, at my house, I've said it's must-watch content. Like, if Tori finds it before I do, there's a good chance he's running into whatever room I'm in. There's a new one.
Yeah. Who are some content creators that you like? Like, who's out there, journalists or, Instagram folks? Like, who's doing a good job in your eyes?
I make fun of this dude a lot. Love or hate the guy, Matt Farah. Let's talk about his consistency in terms of podcasts.
Yeah.
He's been doing this for a long damn time. So I have to give my respect there.
That's true.
There is no specific person that I really watch. I kind of just, at this point with the page, I have to like watch everyone, but that means that I can't really like devote time to one person. I have to kind of divide my attention to this page and that page to understand what's going on. And a few people do send me like videos of what's going on, which helps.
Yeah.
But I still have to do a little bit of research throughout the week.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So do people they'll send you videos. Do they send you ideas of like, hey, you should satirize this or?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
I believe the Fat Ice Rally video, I think I already had the idea, but a couple of people did reach out about that.
That's amazing. They're like, this is tailor-made for Angela's Death Highway. Come on now.
Yeah. You mentioned Matt, and he's been doing this for how long? 2 episodes a week, plus the YouTube, plus everything else, and to be able to do it's tough to do.
It's work.
It's work, and to make it interesting,
course.
and and worth listening to, and all that, and the Patreon name. What I forget your line that you used, but it was
so perfect,
so perfect.
Something about the Patreon usernames. Our Patreon usernames are so good or something like that.
So but I suppose after you've been doing it for as long as he has, it's like, hey, it's the little things, right? But he's always a nice guy when you talk to him. I mean, he's always got a smile on his face, willing to give you 5 minutes and stuff. And so I think he gets a lot of static, a lot of grief, but he's a pro, right? And give him a lot of credit as well.
He's a good example of like what you can achieve if you stay consistent. He's a good motivator.
Right.
I mean, he's always been a good friend to me.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to ask you, because in the Willow Springs Reimagined video, you absolutely nailed his jacket, which was just like, and again, that was one of those things where like, if you were there and then you watch the video, you're like, I know exactly what that is. And that was just like one of those little details. It was so funny. So how hard is it to get accurate representations of the people that you'll be roasting so that they're like easily recognizable? Like, Matt's got like the kooky sweaters and the hot dog shift knobs.
So at the point of making that video, it was way more of a challenge to get things right. to the point now where the conference call that we're on right now, I could take a screenshot of Ryan's face right now, use it as a reference, and it would look very, very similar to how he looks right now. But then I have to build the world around it with the prompt. So that is one of the new ways that you can do it, and it takes longer to generate the result, but it just means that it's gonna look way better.
Yeah.
Like it's more spot on.
Yeah.
Right, but prior to where we are at now, when I was making the Willow Springs video, it was just using my words to try and get the right representation.
Take that, writing teacher in film school who told you never to write anything.
I mean, now, right? Do you solicit ideas?
I do not actively solicit them, but I'm always open to hearing ideas. I think, not exclusive to what I do, but for any industry and that involves like ideas, I think just hearing what other people have is just so important. And it doesn't even have to be the idea that they give you. It can be that idea inspires you to then have a new idea that you're actually going to use. So I am always listening to ideas.
Yeah. Right on.
I love that. Well, I have to say, so the Driver series, I don't know if you are old enough to remember this, but BMW put out, it was a series of marketing videos, but it was a collection called BMW Films. And Clive Owen played a character called the Driver. So when you first put out the video, that was immediately what I thought of. And I don't know if you've seen those.
I have seen those many, many years ago, but that was not actually the thing that I was going for. But it's cool to hear you say that.
It was funny. I went, oh my gosh, like I hadn't thought about the BMW Films in a long time either. So that was a fun, like reminisce. And then plus we had your amazing videos.
Yeah. Something else I think that's really great about what you do is it's, generally specific to Southern California and Angeles Crest and all that, but it's, it's certainly not limited, right? The themes I think are universal, right? I mean, I know a guy just like, that guy in Colorado or this or that, but I think at the same time, this could only happen in Southern California, right? I mean, it's this
absolutely
perfect storm, right? And it's, but go ahead,
I think the SoCal scene is incredibly different to any other car scene, not just in the country but around the world. And you go around the world and like take Japan for example, they have a completely different community than anyone else,
right?
But just speaking specifically for SoCal and this local community that I am a part of, I think there is a big connection with Los Angeles being the culprit for why we have some of these extremities in places like Angeles Crest Highway. There is a huge melting pot already of people, a lot of these people trying to be in the entertainment industry in LA, and a lot of these people are trying to be actors, and some of those people just so happen to be into cars, and they're kind of wacky, different, kind of unique people. And that I suppose that is the beauty of the scene, though, that I love and hate.
Right, exactly. We love it, we hate it, we love to hate it.
It's
Depends on the day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's everything good, it's everything bad. It's a place, people like us who don't live, in LA, we need to come and make a pilgrimage now and again. It's why the Peterson Museum is there. I mean, it really is the living, beating heart of the enthusiast world. What are you working on next without spilling any? Spilling too much. What? Who's in your crosshairs?
Who's in the crosshairs?
Yeah.
So this is actually someone who isn't really in the car culture. This is I mean, they may be, but they're probably not going to be respected very much. They how do I say this without giving it away? This is going to be someone who is your everyday person who you may roast if you are specifically not in the car community.
Interesting. Okay.
I'm so intrigued, and now I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, you
So this is a video concept that I've never done anything like this before. So I'm still working on it, and it
Yeah,
should be out in a few days. But
okay.
it
that's
is.
exciting.
I hope you guys enjoy it.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling we will. And I wanted to ask you about the Shelby video, which is one of the most recent ones.
Oh yes.
So I grew up in a Shelby family, so that one really caught my attention. And I was curious if that was that based on experience? Was it just like, this is one topic I haven't hit before? Like, how did you come up with that one?
So the only real experience that I have with Mustangs are from rental places, and every Mustang that I've had from a rental place has always been kind of like gross. Specifically, like the one particular, like the grossest Mustang that I had was this was last year, a red EcoBoost Mustang, and it was in Hawaii. And despite being a new car, that car, it reeked.
Oh,
It smelled so bad, and it had like 6,000 miles on it.
so they had to work to get that smell in there.
Oh yeah. This car has seen families. It saw devastation. It saw it saw things that I did not want to think about. You know?
Yeah.
Darn,
Everyone I've ever rented smells like Axe body spray, and that is a smell that has a half-life unlike anything else that you can apply to your body. It just won't die. There's something about those things. Yeah, it's
When
still
they
kind of
come,
fun, and I guess that's why you can put the top down, right?
yeah,
The thing about, I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but the worst thing is when you go into a rental car and you can smell the cigarette residue.
Oh yeah.
And then as you smell it, you look down and there is a no smoking sticker on the dashboard.
yeah.
It's like, dude,
That's a weird experience. Yeah, you're like,
the sticker is not going to work here.
Yeah. But then they're going to run it through the scanner now when you return it, right? And check for molecules or whatever they do.
Right.
That's something that's ripe, I think, for Angela's
Oh,
rental car experience. But
that is a good one. Yeah.
the Hertz car scanner.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time now. We'd love to have you come back and join us in
Absolutely.
the future.
Of course.
But I wanted to end on a positive note. What is your favorite part of car culture these days?
Oh.
It's tough given
Despite
everything
it
we've
all,
talked about, right?
Yeah.
Let me have a think about this.
Yeah.
I know. It's like we said, we love it, we hate it.
Okay, so what I will say, and this is a really boring answer, but I'm happy that I have my own reservations about the current track community, but I'm happy that the fundamentals of the track community exist. And what I mean by that is it is about being the best version of yourself when you're on the track. And I can complain and be like, there are a lot of people who go to the track and they take it a little too seriously. But ultimately, you have to respect that a guy who goes to the track to get better at something. So the fact that whole philosophy is still there, and I've noticed like influencers have started to flood this track scene, which it's okay if you are about the track life,
Right, if you're there, yeah.
But that's kind of the whole thing. I think the consensus of the SoCal real track community will always be about just, it's about your fastest lap time, and nobody else really cares about your lap time other than you. So
Right.
I like that.
Yeah, well, it reminds me of something, again, that you said in the other interview about, you were talking about what you wish was appreciated more or kind of was more celebrated in the car community right now. And that's like the skill or enthusiasm and, being able to do an incredibly fast lap at Big Willow. That is a skill. And that you'd like to see that being appreciated rather than the focus on like clicks and likes. And I love that perspective. And we didn't even touch on, your like track driving. I want to get into that. So we'll have to have you come back. But
Of
what's your
course.
favorite racetrack, if that's not too revealing identity-wise? Or second favorite?
So in the last podcast I did, I said Buttonwillow, and it was kind of like not really a serious answer.
I got that sense. That's why I thought I would re-ask.
So
Sorry, what's a button willow?
Nice callback.
That's a good question. I don't know.
We still don't know.
The best memory I ever had on a track was when I did some laps of Spa. And that is a phenomenal track. I'm very privileged and lucky to say that I've had to do that one time. So I'm going to go with Spa.
Well, you win. That's the perfect answer.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's incredible. Well, we really, truly appreciate you joining us. I know everybody's busy. We appreciate you making the time and sharing everything that you have with us. It's been really fun. Obviously, I think we could probably keep talking for another couple hours, but we won't do that to you this time. Remind the people where they can find you on social media.
You can find me at Angelus Def Highway on Instagram. I have a TikTok, but I am not really as active on there. I will post some of the videos on there sometimes, but my main gig, as far as videos go, is Angelus Def Highway.
Perfect. Well, a huge thank you to you for joining us, and to our audience for joining us for this week's episode. We've really enjoyed bringing you this conversation, and we appreciate you being here. If you're enjoying the show, we would love it if you like, subscribe, and tell your enthusiast friends. We're That Car Show. We'll see you back here next week. And until then, remember, always be driving.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks so much.